eri y'obwannannyini. Amataba gasudde abantu b'eddokolo ku nkokola. Eyakatwegattako tukyali mu mawulire agookya. Etwe emikulu ke kaseera nkuwe amawulire mu bujjuvu. Minisita w'obusobozi bw'ebintu balamu asabye abakulembeze okunyweza obuvunaanyizibwa mu nkozesa y'ensimbi eziweebwa ebitundu ng'alabula ku buli bw'enguzi n'okukozesa obubi ensimbi za gavumenti. Katubirabe.
FDI policy threshold.
A stronger link between government financing and service delivery at the local government level will ensure public resources achieve desired results. Minister for Local Government Baramba Rugahara has told a conditional grants negotiations meeting in Kampala that there is a need to prioritize fewer, clear and measurable undertakings.
Financing gaps, let us try to make policy and implementation bottleneck resolved. Let us also resource become more predictable and equitable. Accountability weaknesses in the local government should be addressed. Programming implementation should improve, and most importantly, let the citizen receive better service delivery. So we have villages where we call home, and those villages rest in local government. Even the president comes from Ntungamo, so he wants to see his village in Ntungamo happier. So let us make our villages happy. Let's ensure that every resource entrusted to government works for the citizen. Let us ensure corruption does not defeat the purpose of government financing. And let us ensure that resources negotiated here ultimately translate into better and more equitable and more accountable services and improved service delivery.
Discussions under the private sector development program focused on reviewing how government initiatives are supporting women and youth participation in the economy.
Sessions of 2027-28 present an opportunity to consolidate that what has worked, confront what has not worked, and establish a stronger culture of implementation and accountability.
Again, this is being done in the framework of the 10-fold growth strategy agenda of the country. So how does the private sector, how does the individual programs of bringing the youth on board, the women, the myoga and so on, how are they helping us to address our agenda for the 10-fold growth program or strategy to drive the country to produce wealth worth $500 billion per year by 2040.
The negotiations will inform the financing guidelines for the financial year 2027-2028 conditional grants and address implementation challenges affecting service delivery.
Eyo nga tuvuddeyo ate bo bannaffe abakola ebyobwongo n'ebyemizannyo bakungubagidde omugenzi Alex Mukulu nga bamujjukirako nga omukugu eyakozesa stage okwongera ku Uganda. Katubirabe.
An icon, Alex Mukulu, was born in 1954 at Misebe village, present-day single county in Luganda, to the late Paulo Kaizi Lugaizi and Victoria Ndagire, who was the daughter of Prince Yokana Chimbugwe of Lunguja. His early education started at Misebe, joined the College Secondary School and later studied film and drama at Makerere University in Kampala. His interest in the arts developed early, that he began producing plays in the 1970s.
Amini wa mufuma no marure
Why is that being Isa? Muwanga Simuganda. Tito Kero Timtuama. Katoliku.
The creative industry and the artists have gathered at National Theatre to pay tribute to once a playwright, actor, director, musician, choreographer, and one of the most influential figures in Uganda's theatre.
Omuzira wa Uganda alina kubeera ani? Nti Alex Mukulu abeera nga si muzira wa Uganda kati ffe twanira ki? Because tewali mu Uganda artist ali accomplished nga omusajja akalamidde wano.
They said, we remember his talent, his contribution, and the mark he leaves on Uganda's creative industry.
Gwenazanya wano gwa Alex yagusigalamu yekka yakuba engalo ng'abantu badduseemu bagenze bakaaba. Omwami yafudde agenda kufa. Nakuli gwali muzanyo nga mpatuwandika omuzanyo okusinga ne kwogwo ogw'abambi. N'olwekyo Alex abadde mukwano gwange.
The other young man was talking about burying him in Kololo. Can we have a hall of fame where this would not be just pictures passing, but everything he did would be written down? Nowadays, we like this digital technology.
The executive director of Uganda Communication Commission, Nyombi Tembo, said the late was a perfectionist in his creatives.
People love perfection. We miss perfection. We have had improvisation, it's good, but now we want Mukulu yabadde king wa perfection.
Government was represented by the State Minister for Gender and Cultural Affairs, Mary Kamuli Kutesa.
It is every man's individual to choose what they write in those pages. And we got today because this gallant soldier of the industry of art in Uganda wrote, accurately, professionally, diligently, and with all the spirit he had in him. We applaud him, we applaud him.
Mukulu devoted almost 5 decades to Uganda's performing arts and used the theatre to examine Uganda's political history, culture, social problems, and everyday life. Among his best-known works were Muzukulu wa Kabangala, Wounds of Africa, Peasant's Cry, 30 Years of Banana, Excuse Me Muzungu, Radio Mambo Bado, to mention but a few. His 1991 play 30 Years of Bananas was famous for examining Uganda's political, economic, and social journey since independence. One of his prominent national performances was Journey to Self-Realization at the opening ceremony of the 2007 Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, Chogam in Kampala.
We are here to celebrate my father, and he lives. His legacy still lives.
Alex Mukulu died of liver complications on Saturday 15th August at the age of 72 at Shurudu Hospital.
Kitalo nnyo, kitalo ddala eky'omugenzi Alex Mukulu, era nga tusaba omwoyo gwe Mukama agulamuze ekisa ate ayongere okugumya ab'emikwano wamu n'ab'enganda. Eyo nga tuvuddeyo ate minisita w'ebyobulamu Dr. Kuresi bali omunsi agambye nti kabinenti esabye okuyimirizaamu enteekateeka ey'okusasula ba medical intern abeewandiisa ku bwannannyini okubawa ensimbi okumala emyezi 6.
National Education and Training for Health Policy, which was passed by Cabinet on the 6th of October 2025.
The Minister for Health, Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, has tabled on the floor of Parliament the National Education and Training for Health policy that was passed in 2025 to create a regulatory framework to streamline training of medical professionals. The policy sets standards to build competencies in the medical field. After the policy had been passed, the Ministry of Health was directed to deploy all medical interns, hence expanded internship centers to 77 with 2,490 interns deployed. However, the medical interns contested the provision of facilitation in the policy. Now, Cabinet has recommended that the current cohort be facilitated with 1 million shillings allowances to help in their accommodation and feeding.
President, I have also consulted Cabinet with that yesterday. We did agree and the Cabinet recommended that we suspend that provision of facilitation for medical interns, meaning that we pay them as it has been. Going forward, the current cohort of interns will be paid the same amount. That is 1,268,929, and is subject to tax, and then the net pay will be 1 million. So that
the leader of opposition, Joe Senyonyi, appreciates government, however seeks for a permanent solution since the cabinet recommendation is for the current cohort. He also advocates for an increase of the medical interns allowance from 1 million shillings.
Now, in your engagements with government, now that you're preparing a report, that you get to say, no, we need to, going forward, continue to facilitate these people so that it doesn't apply only to this cohort. So I hope it's not just for this cohort, and then going forward you say, no, we will not facilitate them going forward. The terrain is different. Many of them are in far to reach places, and so 1 million shillings or that kind of thing many years ago cannot be the same today. So please keep engaging them and let the conversation be, how do we facilitate them better? You have started now by acknowledging, yes, they need to be facilitated, but that needs to be improved. They're saying the work they do, things are expensive, the places they've got to go and rent are.
One legislator wanted to know the fate of medical interns who were arrested during a demonstration.
The detailed statement. May we know the fate, or whether there is something that has been decided by the government regarding those who have been arrested in doing what they are supposed to do under the Constitution.
I was briefing Parliament that day. I didn't know they were demonstrating coming to Parliament, and I think up to 8 of them were arrested, produced the report, charged and remanded. As the Minister of Health, I will engage the judicial officers together with Attorney General to see how the issue can be amicably resolved. So those young people should be released so that they can go and start their internship.
The chairperson of the Committee on Health, Dr. Julius Mande, was concerned about the safety of medical interns.
It was reported last time, I think a year or ago, where some intern lost lives. And this was on account of choosing accommodation in insecure areas of stay. So I think the allowance that we give really needs to be stepped up such that these interns are able to choose accommodation in safer areas.
Going to work with the directors of the various hospitals where these interns are deployed, so that we help with the management of the hospitals to get accommodation which is near enough and safe enough.
Meanwhile, the Minister for Information Communication Technology in charge of national guidance, Alion York Odria, has presented a cabinet decision to the press at Media Center in Kampala in line with medical interns allowances.
As long as a person has been attending lectures for the 5 years, inclusive all other trainings within the 5 years, and has passed all his exams, then that student qualifies for graduation. Minus waiting for
ate go amataba gasazeeko ku kyalo ekimu ekisangibwa mu disitulikiti y'Eddokolo ng'era wano abantu tebakyasobola kutuuka ku nguudo ku malwaliro n'amasomero nga n'amazzi amayonjo tebakyalina yadde era nga bakozesa maato.
At least 88 households make Ahoa village in Doholo district. 27 households have been displaced, while those remaining are struggling to survive in a community with no health center, school, shop, or source of clean water. The only link to the outside world is now through this path. Residents say emergencies at night are particularly frightening, while school-going children cross this water and walk several kilometers to school. The crisis has affected livelihoods. Anna Omara says gardens have been submerged. Burial has become difficult, with the residents saying graves quickly fill with water, while shallow pit latrines could increase the risk of disease.
In Dokoro district this year, we have received two issues of disaster: prolonged dry spell and also hailstorm. Now, the sub-counties that are prone to floods include most of the sub-counties that are in Dokoro South constituency. Now, as a district, the COW has written to also the Prime Minister on the issue of the hailstorm and the prolonged dry spell.
However, Minister for Relief, Disaster Preparedness and Refugees, Sam Mingwala, said in an earlier interview that the ministry had not received an official report from the district on the situation.
I'm waiting. When it starts, I'm on the ground. Our quickest people with the COW, they should report to the COW. COW will write to us, and we're there on the ground.
Dokolo South MP Vincent Opito has provided a canoe to ease transport in and out of this village. Bring their lives back on track.
Twongera okubasaasira bannaffe abatuuze b'Eddokolo naye nga tubazamu amaanyi nti tewali mbeera ya lubeerera era nga Mukama ali wamu nammwe essaawa yonna embeera y'amataba mugivaamu. Eyo nga tuvuddeyo Minisita w'ebyobusuubuzi n'amakolero abavunaanyizibwa mu by'obulamu bakyagenda mu maaso n'okwekuuma Ebola era nga naddala ku nsalo ya DR Congo nga National Medical Stores etereza eddagala n'ebikozesebwa eby'obujjanjabi ebyamangu yadde nga ekirwadde kya Ebola kyaggwawo mu ggwanga Uganda.
Uganda declared Ebola free on July 28th after completing the required monitoring period without detecting new cases or transmission. Although Uganda is currently Ebola free, the risk of imported infections remains a concern.
So for Africa, recognizes that life is holistic.
For Africa, Uganda Country Office has donated personal protective equipment to the Ministry of Health. The equipment is not an indication that Ebola is currently present in Uganda, but rather a preparedness measure to ensure the country can respond quickly.
And we hope that this is a contribution as an addition to already ongoing preparedness for the country should there be any other round of any such pandemic, but also these are part of the general routine. They use the PPE in all our facilities, medical facilities across the country.
Health authorities emphasize surveillance preparedness at points of entry. National medical stores officials say having essential supplies strengthens Uganda's ability to respond effectively.
Received 300,000 masks here at NMS with support from For Africa Foundation. These masks are made to stockpiled as part of the response to public health emergencies in Uganda and continued protection of health workers.
Recently, the Minister of Health declared that we are Ebola free. That's a very big milestone as a country. But nevertheless, since Ebola is still regularly, the DRC, Congo, that's all the news that we all received there. And, of course, Uganda has been continued doing surveillance in the borders.
Uganda has experienced several Ebola outbreaks in the past, including major outbreaks in 2000, 2007, 2011, 2012 and 2022, making preparedness an important part of protecting communities and the health systems.
Ateye Minisita w'ebyobusuubuzi n'amakolero Sanjetana alabudde nti Uganda eyinza okwolekera ebbula ly'amasannyalaze olw'amakolero agagenda nga geeyongera mangu ddala.
The Presidential CEO Forum was established by the President to create linkage between the private sector leadership, CEOs from corporate institutions and government executives, with the aim of contributing to the national development agenda. The forum, led by its managing director, Dan Kayemba, today held an engagement with the Prime Minister of Uganda, Robin Nabanja.
We have engaged with more than 10,000 CEOs, big and small. We have talked to business leaders. We have held over 50 engagements across the country. And we have filtered out 229 private sector resolutions that we request government to look at critically.
This is an important occasion because for the 5th time we are coming together to validate what government has committed to do in response to the concerns, recommendations, and the priorities raised by our private sector. It is about making commitments, tracking those commitments, measuring their progress.
The Premier commended the forum for the constructive engagements they have had so far, held with the government, which have resulted into the establishment of a number of industries in the country.
Over the past 5 years, the Presidential CEOs Forum has grown into a trusted platform. I repeat, this has grown into a trusted platform, bringing together business leaders, government institutions, development partners, academia, and other stakeholders to identify the opportunities and the constraints affecting Uganda's investment and business environment.
During the meeting, the Minister of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, Sanjay Tana, warned that Uganda could run short of electricity in the near future based on the rate at which the country is rapidly industrializing.
Within the next few months, in my own opinion, maybe 1 year maximum, we have a fear of going into load shedding. An immediate solution was that these rich people under the Presidential Forum need to be encouraged to invest in solar on top of their roofs so that they become sustainable and release energy for new developments. And I think we have about 3 or 4 examples that are successful in the net metering. One of them is NEC at the Independence Grounds.
Prime Minister Robin Nabanja say the government is fully aware of this need and one of the priorities of government.
Our focus now, using the oil money, is to make sure that the standard gauge railway is up and running. Standard gauge railway. We are also rehabilitating the meter gauge railway. And then electricity. We need to invest heavily so that we have enough electricity for the industries you are putting up.
The Executive Director of the National Planning Authority, Dr. Joseph Muvawara, thanked the government for the investment put in the Export Guarantee Funds.
And Honorable Prime Minister, most importantly, is to thank government for the establishment and immediate of the Export Credit Guarantee Fund. This is a game changer. Sure. And
you tell them the amount of money they are in, because here I can see 820 billion.
Yes.
The meeting was also attended by the third Deputy Prime Minister Rukia Nakadama, Minister for General Duties in the Office of the Prime Minister Hira Ronek, the Minister for Karamoja Affairs John Bapsiroki, and the CEO Presidential CEO Forum Irene Mugisha Birungi.
Ate yo FUFA ekwasiza National Council of Sports ekisaawe kya Kadiba okukiddamu okuzimbibwa n'okulongoosebwa nga Uganda yeetegekera AFCON owa 2027 nga omulimo guno gwa kutwala simbi shilingi obuwumbi 5 n'obukadde 100 katubirabe.
The redevelopment works will be undertaken by the UPDF Engineers Brigade and could last 6 months.
However, we are planning to crash the program so that we do it in a shorter time to enable preparations for AFCON games start early. Some of the expectations of the works we are going to do include preparation of the ground for the pitch. We're going to remove all these soils you see here, which are not stable, stabilize the ground, bring in new soil, bring in new grass. We're going to work on the lighting system.
The project will involve demolishing the existing pitch and constructing a new natural grass playing surface. State Minister for Sports Peter Gwang says preparations of AFCON 2027 were on course.
I want to assure the people of Uganda that AFCON 2027 will take place in Uganda, United Republic of Tanzania, and Kenya come June next year. No wonder we are here to witness yet another opportunity of handing over a training facility. In all these works, I expect a contractor to work in line with the CAF standards.
FUFA President Moses Magogo called for an additional training pitch, preferably artificial, to reduce pressure on the new grass surface.
This pitch has produced very many talents of Uganda. So it is very, very historic of us that where talents have been developed, eventually it is becoming a home of football.
As National Council of Sports, our hands that implement the growth and development of sports majorly lean to the federations if it comes to the different sports disciplines that we're talking about. So when we talk about the game of football, FUFA that has been registered and recognized as the organization or the federation that's in charge of that sport is our hands as far as development of football is concerned in the country.
NCS National Council of Sports Secretary General Bernard Patrick Ogwell said funds for the project were available, including resources for maintenance and equipment.
That we have done everything possible with the FUFA. See that the legal requirement for facilitating the implementation of the project were all undertaken, including the relevant clearance from the government organs have all been undertaken. Honourable Minister, this project should have taken off last financial year, but there were delays that was beyond our control. But what I want to assure the gathering is that the funds that has been planned for the last financial year
nkwewaliza ddala gwe abaddeko okuva gye twatandikidde mpaka essaawa zino n'eyo mu bitundu gy'osinzirira okubanga olaba amawulire agookya. Mukama akumpeera omukisa. Joy Television, amawulire agookya gawedde. Mbaagala nnyo. Nze Vicky Blessing Atoleire, tusinkane olw'enkya essaawa ze zimu. Mweraba.